moved toward me and tried to grab me. We were both temporarily shocked when his hand passed straight through my skin. I could touch him though. I moved quickly around him and placed both of my hands, fire and lightning, on his arms. He screamed when a bolt of lightning ran up one arm, while the other caught on fire and began to melt his skin. I didn't notice her moving behind me until I felt her hand yank my hair and pull me back. I spun towards her. She had a dead expression on her face, as if she was possessed. I squirmed out of her grasp, all the while making sure that my family had escaped. "Enough of this!" I shouted. I clapped my hands together over my head. A massive ball of fire roared from me and boomed throughout the house. The house shook with the impact of the explosion. Both of them lurched off their feet into separate corners of the room. I walked out of the blazing house, not caring to see if they were alive or not.
Hi, my name is Janell Brown and I'm here with Nadia Cash, here to talk about her book, My Name is Karma. Nadia, you're a psychologist.
Yes, I am.
So did psychology play a big part in the process of you writing this book?
I think it played a part in terms of knowing what her feelings are and being able to analyze what her feelings are and being able to write from the first person perspective rather than a third person perspective. So the psychology of it would be, how is it that she knows what it is that she's feeling, and how is it that she understands what it is that she's going through?
Do you think any part of karma reflects who you are?
I think only in terms of what I want to be or what I wanted to do. Because there's some things that she does in the book and I'm like, that would be so cool if I could do those kinds of things. Like some of the powers that she has and some of the things, the gifts that she has and some of the things that she does, I'm like, man, I wish.
So you don't put like a little piece of Nadia in it?
Well, I think every author puts a bit of themselves inside their books. So there could be many pieces in there that are like me that I just haven't dealt with or fully explored as yet. But I'm sure there's some things in there that I'm sure I wrote from my personal perspective.
So, tell me, Nadia, why karma?
Karma is a character that embodies cause and effect. And I wanted somebody to be that person. I wanted to have her not necessarily have a superhero genre thing, because that's so played out right now. But I wanted it to be something that's fun and something that's lighthearted, even though it ends up being a little bit more serious. But I wanted her to embody a superhero power that nobody else has. So that's why Karma.
So, who is Karma?
Karma is a young girl. She is from, well, I have the setting in Louisiana for some random reason. But she is a young girl. She came from a normal family. Then her family got broken up for various circumstances. You're gonna have to read the book if you want to find out. But her family gets broken up, and so she goes through a change, and pretty much like a growing up story, where she becomes, she gets to stay with her mom and her aunt, and from that process, then she starts to become who she is. She discovers that she has these specialized gifts, and it's just a whirlwind after she discovers that she has these gifts, and that it's not only her who has gifts, but it's also her family who has these gifts.
So was this story inspired by anyone or anything in your life?
It actually wasn't. It came as a part of a dream. So I normally have really vivid, wild dreams that I tend to remember. And so one night I went to bed. I don't know what I had to eat that night, but I went to bed and I dreamt of the story of karma. Actually, the climax of the book, I dreamt that up. And so when I got back up, I'm like, oh, that would make a really cool book. And it took about 2 years for me to mull over the idea. And then I just started writing it, and that's how come it became a book.
But wasn't there any moment during this process of writing where you just felt so frustrated?
There were some times where I sat down and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen next. But then the thing about it is what I learned through the process of writing is you always figure out where you want to go. So you figure out the end result, and then it's just a matter of how do I get to that end. So that allows a lot of creativity and imagination because you're like, okay, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. What about the what if questions? What if this happens? What if this happens? And so, yeah, find the end and then figure out how to get there.
So what was the most exciting part about writing this book?
One of the things that the advice that I got from all of my newfound author friends is that you have to be willing to kill your babies, and that is one of the hardest things for me to do as a fiction writer because you become so attached to characters. And so when you're like, okay, this character no longer serves their purpose, how do I kill them? So it's just a matter of coming up with all these exciting ways of how to kill people.
That's deep.
I know. But that's just from my genre. So to me, that's exciting. Like, okay, how do I make it so that it's not something that's bland or boring or something that's emotionally connected? And that was one of the hardest and most exciting things for me when I read back over the scenes where people had to die. If it caused me to cry, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is it.
If My Name is Karma becomes a movie, who would play Karma?
I thought about that so many times. I think I would like Zoe Saldana because she was really good in Colombiano. So I think she would be awesome in Karma.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm sure there's another actress out there that I don't really know about that would fit probably, that's for the producers and the casting people to find out.
Nice. So what do you want people to take from this story?
I want people to take from the story the fact that life is difficult. And it doesn't always go as you want it to go. With Karma, her life, and as if you can read in the book, she always says she wants to be normal. But what is normal? And so in our lives, we go through when we want to be normal, or we want things to go a certain path, or we want things to go a certain way. But things don't end up like that. So the whole thing is adjusting to what life gives you, adjusting to the gifts that you have, finding out what those are, and becoming your best self, allowing the circumstances of life to mold you to be who you're supposed to be. So that's pretty much what I want people to take from it. And an awesome, awesome story.
Nadia, where do we find these books?
They are on Amazon. You can get them Kindle version or you can get the paperback version. They're also on Barnes & Noble and iBooks. So you can buy them on any those 3 digital platforms. And then you can also get a paperback book in terms of buying it from Amazon. Now, I'm trying to bring in some paperback books so that I can have some copies because a lot of people love paper apparently. But mainly the Kindle versions are the easiest one to get.